Hello, everybody. Jerry Tolve here in my basement recording studio here in Nutley, New Jersey. It's April 1st, 2020, and I'm here making a little video, unlike all the videos I've made in my past that were all about production of my band or myself to sell me for my music or whatnot, or for you to enjoy, to bring you back in time, or to make you dance. This is something totally different. Um, I had a crazy situation in the last 2.5 weeks where five people I know died, and some of them were very close to me. My cousin Johnny, who's only 2 3 years older than me, passed on, and my best friend Vito's father died. And words can't describe how sad I am that I can't be there for you guys, for my family, my cousins. Um, I would usually be asked to be singing at some of these funerals, and um this is kind of like a substitution for it, but it's also an encouragement for anybody going through this major storm that we're having right now, which is the invisible storm of coronavirus. And I just want to say a couple things before I sing this song for you. I um, I think we're at this time right now where it's like a major timeout for us, almost like a parent telling a child to take a little time out, go in the corner, think about what you did or what you're doing or what you're gonna do. And I'm not saying that God's giving us the time out, but it's a good time to see what God's got to say. We got plenty of time on our hands, and from the time I had my operations in January till 2 weeks ago, I took it upon myself to read the whole New Testament of the Bible, and it meant a lot to me to get through it. And I took my time and did a lot of studying on it. Watched a lot of sermons, a couple Bible studies here and there, where things I found a little difficult to read. But God really does talk to us through us reading His Word. And I want to pass on a couple things to you real quick before I sing this song. I have three friends out there right now who are battling cancer, mostly at early stages. Some a little bit worse, but um, I, my heart goes out to them, especially in this time where you don't even want to go out the door and they need treatment. And I just want to pass this encouragement. There's a song I've sung a couple of times in my life, and the other night I sang it for an hour, about 4:30 in the morning, after I watched a sermon by a friend of mine. His name is Larry Felder. He used to be a preacher and one of the best singers I've ever heard in my life, from Montclair Community Church in Montclair. And he's now speaking at a church in New York. And I heard this sermon that he gave upon Jesus on the boat with the apostles when the storm came, and the water was coming over the sides of the boat, and it was nighttime, and can imagine how crazy it felt. They didn't have any light or anything, or even if they had a lamp, I mean, the waves were coming over the side of the boat. And the apostles, woke him up out of a sleep and said, Teacher, don't you care about us? We're going to die here. And Jesus got up and said, Peace, be still. And the ocean calmed down, and the wind stopped. And I was thinking to myself, wow, Larry gave this sermon about 10 months ago, and how appropriate it is for right now. And then after I watched that sermon, I watched another sermon by his pastor from the same church. And in the same sermon, which was about the same subject, it was very similar. He was talking about this storm that we're facing, this big storm that the apostles were in with Jesus when they realized he was God and what his powers were. And I want to pass this on as encouragement. I mean, a lot of us are in the same boat. No, I don't have cancer that I know of right now. I don't have coronavirus, but we're all in this boat, this quarantine boat. And I want to be in the same boat that Jesus is in. And I don't want to sound too preachy, but I want to also tell you a little something else. This song I learned, Still, that I'm going to sing for you in a minute, means a lot to me. It was taught to me by Jeff Rogers and Mark Kaplan from Montclair Community Church. I sang it a couple years ago in Wyoming at a church, and a couple of people came up to me afterwards and said how moved they were by the words. And yet I just took it for granted. And now in this situation, after I heard this sermon, I went and sang it for about an hour. And I felt moved that I don't need the attention. I don't want this video to be like, oh, look at me, I'm singing, or I'm preaching at you. I just want this to be encouragement. This is me kind of not being at these funerals for my loved ones, reaching out to my friends who are sick. My brother's best friend has coronavirus and his daughter, and I'm praying for them. Our friends were texting, we're chatting, but we can't be with these people. So this is the next best thing. YouTube, Facebook, however you're seeing this, I hope you're encouraged by it. I just want to say right now, in this time, get on my soapbox for just a second. I was in church the last week that we were able to go to church at Abundant Life in Nutley, and a friend of mine who's also one of the pastors there, her name's Patty Cruz, and she was speaking with me and my daughter after church, and she said, you know, Jerry, we're coming up to the Easter season. It's great to know that you just read the whole New Testament. One of the great things we forget about the New Testament is that Jesus gives us 2 new commandments. And I'm going to read those commandments for you right now. And the commandments are, love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul and with all your mind. This is the first and the greatest commandment. And the second is just like it, love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets hang on these 2 commandments. So what Jesus is saying, love him, love God, and love your neighbors. So now, this Easter season, when you look at a cross, or anytime you look at a cross, if you see it hanging on somebody's neck, on a tattoo, passing by a church, wherever you see a cross, I want you to think about this. And I thought this was so clever and so great. And she said she didn't make it up, but I'm glad she passed it on to us. The vertical line is up and down. It's God speaking to us and us speaking to God. And then the horizontal is us communicating and loving our neighbors and them loving us back. So by me being filled with this spirit to bring this video to you, I'm getting this message as a message that I want to send to you horizontally, to my loved ones, my friends, my family, whoever's going to gain any benefit out of this. I hope you enjoy it. And before I sing the song, it's called Still. It's by Hillsong Church, the musicians from that church from quite a while ago. I'm just going to read what God and Jesus say in the Old Testament and the New Testament, which is very important. In Psalm 46:10, he says, "Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth." And then in the New Testament, where I said before, Jesus got up on the boat and said, "Peace, be still." Well, let me just say this. We're all being still right now. We don't have a lot of choice. We're in our houses. We're on our phones. Heck, my kids live on their phones. So take a little time out and do some connecting with your loved ones, with your friends. Reach out to somebody maybe you haven't talked to in a while. And as Stevie Wonder said in Songs in the Key of Life, one of my favorite albums of all time, he titled the song, "Have a Talk with God." So I'll leave you with that, and hope you get encouraged by this song. Thanks. Hide me now under your wings. Cover me within your mighty hand. When the oceans rise and thunders roar, I will soar with you above the storm. Father, you are king over the flood. I will be still and know you are God. Find rest, my soul, in Christ alone. Know his power in quietness and trust. When the oceans rise and thunders roar, I will soar with you above the storm. Father, you are king over the flood. I will be still, know you are God. When the oceans rise and thunders roar, I will soar with you above the storm. Father, you are king over the flood. I will be still, know you are God. When the oceans rise and thunders roar, I will soar with you above the storm. Father, you are king over the flood. I will be still, know you are God. I will be still, know you are God. I will be still, know you are God.